This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
That's number one. You kind of reset your
Painful, tender to the touch. May also
same shoulder length and the other.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Real Health Podcast with Brandy and Amir. I am Dr. Amir Rashidian, a chiropractor. Brandy Rashidian is my other half and life partner and business partner and everything else, the one I depend on and rely on and
parental partner,
go home to and all of that. So the Real Health Podcast is where we bring to you all the latest information about health and wellness. We hope to find the latest information, things that they're talking about in social media, articles that have come out that maybe of use to you. And we want to break it down and give you the perspective from a non-surgical, drugless opinion that we have. It is strictly our opinion that we're sharing with you. Certain things will be fact. We'll always tell you what's what. But our hope is that this information helps you feel better, get stronger, live longer, and feel younger. And the Real Health Podcast is brought to you by the Frederick Podcast Network. It can be found on listenfrederick.com, plus YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes, and everywhere else you can find the podcast. And today we have a lot of information.
Sean might have to put that thing on that says 4 hours later.
So things are happening. The biggest thing I'm seeing, which is actually, but let me actually premise this, because today, for the first time, we didn't talk about what we're going to talk about.
No.
So you guys are either in for an amazing podcast or the worst one you've ever heard. Either way, we're going to share the information with you, but Brandy doesn't know actually what the articles are.
So you're going to be getting my raw footage.
Right.
Sean's scared.
And I don't know what order we're going to go in and which article we're going to talk about first and how many we're going to get through, but we're going to keep it fun and interesting, and we'll see where it goes.
See what happens.
And if it ends up being good, then we're never going to prep again.
Never.
Yeah. It's just, life's been really, really busy because we just opened our third office a little over a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're both going on very little sleep and lots of hours of work, especially Brandy. She's working more days and hours than ever before. But I think there's light at the end of the tunnel.
There is.
How long that tunnel is, we don't know.
We don't know, but I see a speck.
Hopefully the light is not a freight train coming to run over us.
It does feel like that some days, for sure.
But here's what I was going to say. But
we have a good team surrounding us.
Oh, we have a great team.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, I absolutely love everybody who we work with. And I'm just so impressed that everyone has stepped up. And
it's been awesome.
Doing great. So thank you to all of them, and thank you to you
and
as
thank you
well.
to you, sir.
So it's called the collapse of trust in traditional health authority.
Yes.
I thought this was a big thing.
People I think it is.
Aren't just debating what works anymore. They're debating who to trust at all. They're not trusting mainstream medicine anymore.
Well,
they're
can you?
doubting all the you're right there with us. I'm sure you question your doctor, you question guidelines, you question the CDC, question the FDA.
Well, let me just set the stage. So I had a patient in yesterday, and she was telling me a story, and I forgive me because I forget if it was her or her friend, because we were talking about two things. But they went to a breast specialist, and they were inquiring about thermography, because thermography has kind of resurfaced as, for a lot of women as a different or better or adjunct, however you want to word it, service or diagnostic opportunity to actually see if there's the potential for tumors to grow. And so when she asked her breast specialist about it, they shrugged it off. They're like, I don't know. I don't really know much about it. And she's like, but this is your area of expertise. Why would you not want to know about every potential screening opportunity that your patients might ask about? And I told her, I said, well, it might be because they don't do it and it doesn't make them money. And I hate to be like that. I hate to always have it go back to money, but then tell me what else it is. Why is it that any clinician would not want to know? I mean, just for those of you who don't know about thermography, thermography takes a thermal image of your skin, of your body, and there's a certain depth that it can actually detect, and it's looking for blood flow.
Well, it's measuring heat patterns.
Heat patterns,
So if
right?
there's a warm spot where it's not supposed to be warm, certain parts of your body should be warmer than the others.
Yes.
Certain areas have to be colder than the others. And
Can be indicative of blood flow.
Right. Yeah. Increased metabolic activity or increased blood flow signifies pathology.
Right.
And thermography, a good thermography camera can pick up pathology years before mammograms or any other screening device can pick it up.
Right.
Years,
Yes.
not days or months.
Correct. And so what's wonderful about it is if they detect that metabolic activity or the increased blood flow, then you go, okay, what do I need to change this, right? Because now we're talking about inflammation, and there are things that you can do nutritionally, supplementally, and otherwise to be able to change the course of that inflammation, metabolic activity. So why would we want to wait until there's a mass to be detected in a mammogram? And not to mention it's not great for the breast. Mammograms compress the breast tissue. It can be very uncomfortable. It can damage the breast tissue. And then you're also looking at the radiation that comes from the mammogram, which also can cause cancer.
Yeah.
So you go, okay, what would actually be better for the patient? Would it be better to do a screening that can actually see that metabolic activity and that blood flow early, so a patient can actually make lifestyle changes so that they don't get the lifestyle disease of cancer? I don't know. So money is the one thing I go back to, and that's disheartening to me.
Part of the problem is indifference and dismissiveness, where
Yeah.
they dismiss their patients, assuming patients are not smart or not educated or not knowledgeable. Patients are very knowledgeable.
Yes.
We have, 13,000 patients now? We've had 13,000 patients. I'm telling you, not a single one of them is
Not able to comprehend
stupid.
or have a conversation about medical.
Some of them know more than I do about certain things.
It's unbelievable.
And those 13,000 people have been my greatest teachers.
Yes.
So as a doctor, you're not listening to your patient. You're not following through. So I got a story that last night. I got a call from a very close, dear friend of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband called and said, oh, she had the baby.
Yay.
Now, there were some medical complications. I don't want to get into details. And so they had to induce her early. So the baby came out at 38 weeks and 6 days. So almost 39 weeks. So the reason they're calling, they texted me and I called them back is because they were wondering, because they didn't want to do any unnecessary medical procedures, and the doctors had recommended certain shots, and they were like, well, we really don't want to do this shot right now, but considering everything she's been through, should we or shouldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to tell you what I told them, but my point is that these are educated, smart, knowledgeable people, very knowledgeable people who have read up on everything, and they probably know more than some pediatricians out there. And they are in a hospital with nurses and doctors all around them, and they're calling a chiropractor asking for advice. This is proof that people don't trust medicine anymore. That trust is gone.
Well, I mean, you can't make decisions for people about their health. I know a lot of doctors want to do that. There's even times where we go, a patient chooses not to go under care, and we go, we know it's the best thing for them. But we have to honor what they want, right? We have to honor their choice. And so do every other doctor. It just blows my mind that pediatricians will kick patients out of their practice because they don't want to get vaccinated, or they want to slow their vaccines down.
Well, and just to clarify, this shot, they weren't asking about the vaccines. They were asking about the vitamin K shot.
Right.
Because technically, by definition, the baby's premature.
Technically, it's not.
It technically isn't.
Because when we were pregnant with Ramin, I had placenta previa, and I had a placental abruption at 27 weeks. I think it was 26, 27 weeks.
Before that. It was 24 or 25.
No, it was 26.
26 sounds right.
So, because I was just getting ready to enter our third trimester.
Yeah, I just remember them saying at 20, there's documented cases where at 26, because she went into labor.
Yeah, I went into preterm labor.
And so they were like, we may be getting to this baby out now. And I remember them saying, we have documented cases where at 26 weeks, baby survived. But I thought we were before that. And
Right.
that's where they were like, if we can wait another 2-3 weeks, that would be wonderful.
Right.
Anyways.
But so they wanted to take, and I remember them saying, of course, I do buck the system a lot. And so I fight against things that I think are absurd. You may not know me, but that is my personality. So we ended up, I ended up not staying in the hospital for bed rest as they requested for my last trimester.
I will share that story at another time because that's a good one.
And so I ended up not, but they wanted to take the baby at like 34, 36 weeks, something like that. And I was like, nope, we're not doing that. We're going to wait. And they're like,
it was lower than 35 for sure
Yeah.
that they wanted.
and I was like, we're not going to do that. And they're like, a few weeks doesn't matter. And I was like, you guys are so absurd. Every single week matters for
Minutes
pregnancy.
matter. Minutes matter.
So
You got this baby that's the size of a cell
yes,
growing into something that's like 7 to 9 pounds and 20 inches long in
every
a
second
span of
matters.
9 months. You're telling me there isn't changes happening minute by minute?
Yeah.
Every minute counts.
If nothing else, they're putting on fat, right? Which they need when they enter this world. So, but they, even at that, and I pushed them, we didn't let them take him before, I think I was almost 38 weeks. So I was like, well, you're not taking him. You're not taking him. This is the earliest I'll do it. And I really pushed it till they were like screaming at me.
Yeah.
But then they also wanted to talk about vitamin K, but I had already read the research. We knew the research, and we knew that the research was premature infants with cranial bleeds. And we knew that, and I said, is he premature? Do you classify him as premature? And they said, technically not. And I said, does he have a cranial bleed? No, he does not. Then why would I do that? They didn't have an answer.
But they wanted to circumcise him.
Right. But we said no
vitamin K is
circumcision.
required for clotting of the blood, and
Correct.
usually they circumcise right after birth. And we're like, we're going to wait 8 days.
Yeah. So
We're
we
gonna wait
did.
8 days because after 7 days, the body produces its own vitamin K.
Yes.
Again, don't assume that was the advice I gave our friends.
Correct. I'm just saying
I don't
that was
want that
ours.
to be the assumption here because there's other things that need to be taken into account.
Yes.
And
But for us, that was my conversation with the pediatricians that
Exactly.
came in. And what was frustrating for us or for me is because I had 3 pediatricians that were doing rounds, and they came in every single time and they're like, you're putting your infant at risk for death. I'm like, if I was anybody else that didn't have the research, I would have been scared to death.
yeah, you would have caved. Yeah.
And I think that that's wrong. Don't use fear factor. Hand somebody the study and know that they're intelligent enough to read it. And if they don't understand it, they can ask questions, but don't just scare people into doing what you think that they should do.
Right.
We're
We're basically assuming God doesn't know what he's doing because God created the human body and designed it to produce its own vitamin K after 7 days.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a reason that babies should not have the vitamin K before 7. I don't know what that reason is,
I don't
but
know
maybe
either.
there is a reason. If there's a reason, I'm not going to question nature. Nature, God, everything else. Now, there's going to be times where that's necessary, like if there is a brain bleed,
Right.
or there's risk of a brain bleed of some sort. Yeah,
But we do this in medicine. We do blanket statements. Let's like, there's one issue that this one person has or this one group, and then we go, oh, look at that. Well, let's do that for everyone across the board. And there's a detriment to that. That's not the way we should be practicing medicine, right? Because we're not looking at the person, we're looking at the product and then the bottom line.
Yeah, we need to study wellness. We need to study health. No one knows what health is. I think we have an article about like how the definition of health is so vague. So some of the things are, we've had the movement called Make America Healthy Again by RFK Jr. There's anti-institution health movement. This is arguably the most politically charged health conversation in decades. It blends vaccine skepticism, food system criticism, like processed foods and additives,
Oh, do not get me started.
distrust of FDA, CDC, and big pharma, chronic disease frustration, and I don't blame you with the frustration. There's too much chronic disease. There's kids who have type 2 diabetes. That used to be, you don't get that till you're like 80 years old. Now you're getting it as a teenager.
There was a short on YouTube the other day that I came across, and it was supposed to be funny, and it was this video of all of these people post colon a screening, right? Colonoscopy. And so, and the body does some gross things, and people think it's funny, and they're recording it, right? So it's a compilation video of that, of basically people letting out gas after. I wish I could tell you that the vast majority of those people in those videos were 50 and over. They were all in their 20s.
Wow.
A few in their 30s. I'm telling you, these were young people
Having colonoscopies.
And we were leaving a basketball game, and somebody was talking about going to McDonald's. I was like, don't do that. I'm listening. I'm judging you right now. Don't take your kids to go somewhere else. And I was joking. It's a friend of ours. And we started talking about soda, and I'm like, oh, don't drink. Those are the two worst ones. They still have, I think it's bromelated something oil. But anyway.
Can you bleep out those brand names, Sean?
Yes, please do. And so I was like, don't drink that stuff. Like it causes colon cancer. There's very direct correlation to high fructose corn syrup and colon cancer. Like it's a direct correlation. And the kids are like, oh, it's fine. Yeah, blah, blah. You know, there's an old lady telling them not to have something they like. And I'm like, you guys think it's cute now? Keep drinking all your energy drinks and your sodas. And you're going to be one of those
drinking
kids.
soda on a regular basis with high fructose corn syrup, you probably should go get that colonoscopy, even if you're young. But there's, these are the searches that we're seeing online. They're searching for vaccine safety. That never used to be a search. No one cared too much.
Right.
Not 30 years ago, in the past 10, 15 years for sure. Food additives banned in Europe is another search. So they're like, why are these things banned in Europe but not in the US? And chronic disease causes. So now people are going after cause.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So I like these searches because people need to know. Now, one of the things is that they're talking about how this increasing distrust in all medical advice is actually risky as well, because then they may deny or refuse care that they need. I don't know.
But it's not hard to mention, we live in a country where we have an overuse of pharmaceuticals and an over-treatment in certain areas that probably don't need it.
So you want some data? 5% of the world's population lives in the United States. 50% of the world's production of pharmaceuticals is consumed in the United States. 5% of the world's population ingest 50% of the world's production of drugs.
And do you want to know
That's
what
right
we're
here in
ranked
America.
as far as health in the world? We're not up there, folks.
Not number one.
We're not even number 10.
Not top 10. That's right.
We're not even top 20.
Not even top 30, I believe. Or like 37.
37th or something. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, look that up because I don't have the exact number.
That was it at least a few years ago.
That was back in like the year 2000.
It was really bad.
So like that now it's been 26 years later.
Yeah.
That was big. July of 2000 was the article that came out called Death by Medicine, where they talked about how 220,000 people were dying because of medical errors and drug overuse and drug interactions and unnecessary surgeries and side effects.
Crazy.
Side effects was 100,000 was because of side effects of drugs. 100,000 people every year were dying. Look this article up. I wish we had it. I know I have it somewhere. It came out in July of 2000, I believe, maybe. And I think it was in the Journal of American Medical Association. So anyways, but traditionally we had doctors, hospitals, and guidelines. Now we have, get this, influencers, podcasters, and root cause practitioners. I would like to be one of those root
Hey,
cause practitioners.
before you get into that, let me just tell you, and we have to study this, but it says health outcomes. Now this is from chat, so we know sometimes chat lies, but
Chat's been lying to me a lot.
I know.
Recently.
In some global metrics like healthy life expectancy, which is HALE, U.S. has fallen to around 69th globally regarding
What?
men and 76th for women.
What?
Now, that is probably a different like study that we saw. So, but I think that is absolutely hilarious.
Wow.
Wow.
And chat
We're
GPT,
last as far as wealthy countries too, for the record.
Wow. I know ChatGPT likes to inflate some numbers
Yeah,
in the favor of institutions.
we'll do some more research between now and the next podcast,
Yeah.
and we'll update that data. But it is important for us to know that, because if we were ranking the healthiest, then what we're doing is working.
Yeah.
But when we keep falling further and further down, then we have to go, okay, then our processes, our protocols, what's been approved by the FDA, like, guys, I think we need to start looking in another direction, because we're not getting healthier. It's
Yeah.
getting worse and worse. People are getting sicker.
Well, I mean, the evidence of that is because we're talking about wellness influencers versus traditional medicine. We've got, this is great. We have scientists who have become celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear some of them?
Yes.
Andrew Huberman,
Ooh.
Huberman Labs. I listen to that guy a lot, and I love his stuff. He has millions of followers, people listening to him. He's a neuroscientist, not a not a medical doctor,
Mm-hmm.
but his information is amazing. Peter Attia, he's the longevity guy. I know there's like some money behind him somewhere,
Sure.
but there's also Casey Means.
Mm-hmm.
Casey and her brother
Yeah.
were big time involved in getting President Trump elected and getting RFK Jr. and him. Casey is who connected RFK and Trump and got them to sit in a room and talk, and that led to what's going on. But Casey,
I really like Drew Canole. Drew Canole is one. I've sent you a lot of his shorts. He has become
okay.
very.
Yeah.
He
I didn't know that
does-
was his name.
Yeah, he does some unbelievable. He reminds me a little bit. There's a Dr. Barbara O'Neill also.
Oh yeah, we love
She's
her.
out of, I think, Australia.
Australia, yeah.
And if you look her up and Google her, they coin her as like a
witch
crazy,
doctor.
like Mad
Yeah.
Hatter kind of person. Oh my gosh.
She's
She
not
talks
crazy.
about how to do castor oil compresses and to put garlic in your child's sock to, I don't know what's so crazy about that, but Drew Canole is like that too. And I've gotten so many unbelievable
Yeah.
like tips from
The
him.
Amish channel you were watching was
Oh my
so
gosh.
good.
I love the Amish people. Did you guys know that there's male and female peppers?
Yeah, that was amazing.
That's amazing.
Three bumps versus 4 bumps.
3 bumps is a boy, 4 bumps is a girl, for the record.
Yeah.
And
These are
the
bell peppers.
boy peppers are good for cooking, and the girl peppers are sweeter and they're better for using raw. So there you go. Thank you, my Amish friends.
Yeah, and that was just one of the shorts.
Yeah.
There were so many. We couldn't stop watching them. We're just hooked on these the Amish videos about
Hooked on
food.
Amish.
Hooked on the Amish. Very cool. But, and then there's been a surge in direct-to-consumer testing. So people are buying their own glucose meters, and they're continuous glucose monitors, and they're doing personalized supplement stacks where they watch a video of podcasters like us. Hopefully we don't lead you to just go buy your own supplements. Hopefully you'll talk to a professional. But anyways, people are doing that. They're picking their own supplement stacks, and functional medicine clinics are surging. Doctors who are saying, oh, let's balance your hormones. Let's make sure your thyroid is working, but not just put thyroid in you,
Yeah.
but let's fix it.
Yeah.
So anyways, like for example, people are watching videos about, type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance, and then they're going out and getting their own monitors, and
Yeah.
they're checking their own insulin, and they're getting their own supplements and changing their own meal plans, and they're actually getting good results.
Yeah.
People are getting good results by just doing it themselves. I think you should have someone with you. Anyways, and it is all exploding because the influencers, and I don't know if we're influencers because we don't have a big following, but I'm talking about the ones that have hundreds of thousands of people following them. They're offering certainty, simplicity, and direct action.
Mm.
And then medicine, traditional medicine, offers things like, well, it depends. You go, hey, how does this work or that work? Well, it depends. And they're never giving you any straight answers. And they're too worried about being sued, I guess. And then the next thing you always hear is, we need more research.
Yeah.
Not enough research has been done. How many articles have we presented on where they go, okay, this causes this and that, but we should do more research?
We just think about last year. Go back and see what we read about how the FDA was handling and what they thought of microplastics versus this year what we've seen so far.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that alone, I was just telling somebody this week, I'm like, I literally have gotten to put my tinfoil hat away. For the past 20 years, we've been looked at like we're conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
Me probably even more than you because I
Weirdos.
go down weird rabbit trails. But like we've been talking about this. We've been talking about, hey, God did not create a sun that's going to give you cancer. You might want to look at what you're putting on your skin. Don't go out in the sun and get burned, but are you taking in the nutrients that you need to protect your skin? Did you know that when you wear sunglasses outside, you stop your body's ability to do what it needs to do so you don't get burned? Like there's all of these things that you need to understand about the body, and God has all these mechanisms in place, and we just override them nonstop, left and right.
Let's take an ad break and we'll be right back. All right, here's another one. This is about peptides.
Woo! I like peptides.
And actually, I have an article. USFDA is expected to lift restriction on certain peptides. And this was reported by Reuters. So this article covers one of the most fascinating gray zone stories in wellness right now. The FDA's expected move to lift restrictions on certain peptides that had previously been limited because of concerns about immunogenicity, toxicity, and impurities. These compounds are already popular in wellness, integrative, anti-aging, and sport medicine circles, where they are often marketed for recovery, healing, inflammation, body composition, and performance. These peptides are like the old days of steroids, except a lot of them, if you do it under supervision with a professional overseeing it, they're not showing any side effects whatsoever. By the way, I want to mention GLP-1 is a peptide. So if you're wondering what's a peptide, it's a small chain of amino acids. So proteins are long chain amino acids. Peptides are short chain amino acids. That's all it is. It's like some of them are as few as 3, 4, 5 amino acids together. They call a peptide. When they put them in your body, they cause your body to do certain things. And they're not seeing negative side effects from these things, which is why they're not approving it. But
Right.
It seems like they might be.
Well, what's funny though is they approved GLP-1s, and that's a
Right.
peptide that
And
has horrible side effects.
That one has,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But not all of them do.
Right.
There are some
Exactly.
peptides that don't.
Right.
But
like retatrutide,
yes,
which
that's
is
a
like the next
GLP-3.
version of GLP-1. It has GLP-1 in it with 2 other things that make it safer. But this could open more space for compounding pharmacies and wellness clinics to offer products that sit somewhere between cutting-edge medicine. This is what the article says: speculative self-experimentation and hype. Now, I don't think it's truly speculative self-experimentation. You look at some of these peptides like BPC 157, TB 500, and retatrutide. There is tons of research behind them. There is a lot of positive data, very little negative about them. And so anyways.
Let's put it this way. There's more data on a lot of these peptides than what we saw on like a specific vaccine that came out in
Yeah. I think
few
Dr.
years back.
Michael mentioned it on the last on two podcasts ago. He had a number. He said like 2/3 of medical procedures have no research behind them.
Yeah. So only when it benefits them do they point that out on a product.
Yeah.
Or a procedure or a diagnostic.
I mean, if there's something that doesn't cause harm, yet it helps you recover from an injury faster,
Right.
why is that not approved?
Right.
So anyways, RFK Jr. publicly expressed support for these peptides, but be careful because you can buy these peptides from a whole host of different
Doesn't
quote
mean they're
unquote
clean.
online pharmacies, and some of them are not pure, and some of them don't even have what they say they do have in them. They'll take your money and they'll send you something. You're going to inject it into your body, and it may not be a good thing. But health is becoming more emotional, more political, more commercial, more identity driven. And so, anyways, all of that stuff being part of this food system, seed oils and chronic disease, and people are checking these out as well. So this is one of the most viral and emotional conversations in health right now being had on social media. And they're asking, why is everyone sick? It's a good question.
Mhm.
Why aren't doctors asking that? Because they benefit from sick people. Is our food supply poisoning us? Great question. Are seed oils harmful? And there's debates about seed oil versus animal fats.
Mhm.
I'll tell you right now, I'm all for animal fats.
100%.
I don't see a problem with animal fats.
And seed
I
oils, you have to be super cautious with which ones you're
Oh
using
my
because
gosh.
they are not all created equally. Like they
Oh,
all have a different smoke point. They all have different. Most of them have been genetically modified, and
right.
so what they should have been and what they are two vastly different things. There's very few oils that you should really be cooking with. So coconut oil, olive oil at a very low heat. It's better to just do on raw stuff. But really, coconut oil is one of the very few oils you should be cooking with.
Because it's saturated
Yeah.
and it's solid at room temperature.
Yes. And so otherwise, the others break down very, very quickly and become toxic. So
Yeah, I agree. I've told this story before where I remember growing up, everybody, including our household, we had in the lower cabinet, there was a big metal tub
can of lard.
with lard in it.
Oh, yeah.
And we would take a wooden spoon and grab a scoop of it and throw it in the pan,
Yeah.
heat it up and cook with it. And I don't remember people having heart attacks as much as they are today. I don't
Not,
remember people having diabetes as much as they do
not
today.
until that tub with the little blue wave on it came out. I'm not supposed to say the name, but it starts with a C.
Hmm.
And that came out. And I wish I had remembered. I'll have to look it up again. But I just happened upon some history of how that cooking grease was created and then slowly replaced lard as what every woman in the household was using. So
I'm not a proponent of fried foods. Okay, so that's not good for you. Don't fry your food every single day and all of that stuff. So don't misunderstand. I'm just telling you, when we used more animal fats, we were healthier, just as a society. And when we switched from that into some of these other things, now we're seeing this rise in chronic illnesses and increased inflammation and all kinds of inflammatory bowel diseases.
yeah, for young people, gosh, it breaks my heart that most people have no idea that they've been damaged in such a way where people who are supposed to be like providing quality items for them to consume have decided to knowingly
Yeah.
put in such awful, terrible chemicals and ingredients that are causing cancer and plenty of other disease processes.
Yeah.
And we make it pretty and we make it available and make kids want it, and then we make it super addictive on top of it.
Yeah.
Like it's really disgusting to me. It's very frustrating.
I agree. And then, I always like to look at the health of the person who's giving me the advice.
Yes.
How do they look? Look at their complexion. Look at their body composition. Look at their how energetic they are or they look. I mean, we've got some people giving health advice who look like they're on their last leg,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word.
And we're
So
not talking about skinny versus a few
no.
pounds.
Oh
That's
no, no, no.
please don't
Listen,
think that.
skinny is not healthy. Skinny is far from healthy, and that's the other problem is we're judging health by body fat composition. You have to have body fat. If you're a male, you should, in my opinion, you should have minimum 15% body fat. If you're female, minimum 22, 23% minimum, and higher. So, but you should also make sure you have muscle. You got to make sure you have bone density, and make sure you're not starving your body. Nutrition. Sometimes you're eating a lot, but those are empty calories, not a lot of nutrition in them. Here's another trend where instead of mental health, they're talking about nervous system regulation or nervous system optimization. Doesn't all this sound a lot like chiropractic? Because in 1885, chiropractic was created or discovered, I should say. And since then, these chiropractors have been in this big battle of, listen, go natural, go whole foods, get some sunlight, get some sleep, and protect your nervous system. And we kept saying from the beginning, your nervous system controls everything that happens in your body.
Everything.
Why is there a nerve that goes to every cell, tissue, and organ in your body? Is because the brain needs to communicate. It's like the power source, right?
Yeah.
You flip the light switch and the light comes on. Well, the switch didn't turn on the light. It allowed power to flow to that light. And the same power comes from your brain. And in fact, your brain is a receiving and sending information. So it needs to receive information from your body as well.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to balance the nervous system? Mental health has evolved from therapy and diagnosis to nervous system optimization. I like it. This is a good trend. These are all good trends.
Well, it is a good trend. The challenge is, though, a lot of they're right. I mean, there's a group here in Frederick that is a counseling psychology group, and they do take the approach of the nervous system regulation, but there's so much more to it, because you can help regulate the nervous system in many ways, right? You can, like, being near your children helps to regulate their nervous system. Skin to skin contact helps to regulate a baby's nervous system. So much research on that recently too. Now I wish I had co-sleeped with our kids. But anyway, the challenge is that sometimes you can't regulate the nervous system optimally if you have interference in the spine. And so while, yes, I love the idea of nervous system regulation from a mental health standpoint, there's only so far you can go if there's misalignments in the spine that are impacting the communication from the brain to the rest of the body. So it's a great idea, but we need to take it a step further. And maybe psychologists need to be teaming up with groups like ours, so we can say, hey, you guys help on the mental emotional aspect. We're going to look at it from a physiological standpoint. We're going to go ahead and adjust the spine and then see how that impacts, because we know what happens when C1. I mean, tell them everything that happens with C1.
It affects your vagus nerve, it affects your brainstem, and it causes a blockage between flow of information from your brain to the rest of the body. You know, it's been 10 years since I published my first book.
I can't believe that.
10 years. And that book was called The Stress-Proof Life.
Yes.
And all I talked about, the entire book, was the fact that your nervous system, your autonomic nervous system, is divided into these two branches. And one is fight or flight. The other is rest and repair. And you need to figure out how to spend more time in rest and repair and less time in fight or flight.
Yeah.
And I talked about all the consequences of that. Now everybody's talking about it, which is pretty cool. I'm happy about that. But that whole fight or flight thing, it's a real thing.
It is.
When your body sits in fight or flight, repair, regeneration, and healing cannot take place. Fat loss cannot take place.
Digestion cannot
take place. Immune system cannot function. Inflammation goes up. Hormones go out of whack. Everything bad happens when your body's in fight or flight. Get yourself out of fight or flight as much as possible. Read my book. Read the second one called The Stress Proof? No, that one's called
Cracking the Stress Secret.
Cracking the Stress Secret. You can find that one on everywhere, including Amazon and Barnes & Nobles. So anyways, and you know what? Don't buy it. I don't care if you buy it. Just borrow it from someone else. You know what's cool is Jake texted me yesterday or 2 days ago. And he's in, Jake.
He's in Chiro school.
Jake was, he's his family's close to us, and he did an internship a couple years in our offices and decided to become a chiropractor. So he's in Florida going to chiropractic school, and he's also working at a bar as a bartender to pay for chiropractic school. Good for him. He's working hard. He did really well his first trimester, by the way.
I'm so excited for him.
But he said he was telling his boss about my book,
Mm-hmm.
and his boss said, "Oh, I've already read that one. I'm going to go get his second book."
What?
How cool is that? I thought literally like 7 people had bought my book.
That's
But
crazy.
one of those 7 was in Florida.
That's awesome.
Go figure. So
That's
yeah,
very
that was
cool.
pretty cool that Jake texted us. I miss that guy.
Mhm.
Um,
I was going to say he'll be back in the summer, but that's not how chiropractic school works.
no, he'll have a couple weeks off and he'll have to go again. Anyways, people are looking into like things like cold plunges and breath work and heart rate variability.
These are all good
Is
things.
they're good things. Monitoring. Sometimes we over monitor
Mhm.
because certain things do need to fluctuate. Heart variability should fluctuate.
Blood pressure
but
should
there-
fluctuate.
Yes, gosh, pulse, all of that.
Cholesterol should fluctuate.
Yeah, but number one thing in the body is the nervous system. I wish every doctor, no matter what problem you have, when you go in there, they would first make sure the nervous system is working properly. Then they'd look at the organ that's failing.
Well, doesn't that make more sense?
It makes more sense.
I mean, if your light in your kitchen won't go on, do you first check the light bulb
Yeah,
or
that's what they
the
do.
fixture, or do you go to make sure the breaker is not?
Right. And if you keep changing the light bulb and the light bulb still doesn't come on, do you keep putting new light bulbs in?
Some, yes.
But I like it. People are replacing institutional trust with personal interpretation. And I think that can be dangerous in an extreme sense.
Mm.
You can't rely strictly on personal interpretation, and you can't ignore institutional advice completely because some of it is not bad.
Correct.
And so, it used to be in the old days, the doctor would tell you what to do and you just go do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. No questions asked. Now you research, you question, you customize, you build your own health philosophy, and then you question everybody else. Anyways,
It's a nice paradigm shift,
we
actually.
need to be careful. Yeah.
But it is good because you never want to follow anyone's advice blindly.
No.
Like, you should be taking what we talk about here and then doing more research on it and then taking it further. Then shoot us a message and tell us what you found, and we'll dig in further. That's how we gain knowledge, because we're not just talking about information. This is about knowledge. You can just get information over and over. You can
Yeah.
be inundated with that. That's the problem right
And you
now.
can be misled by influencers.
Yes.
So they don't even take what we say without researching it.
Yeah.
Bottom line, and I think we're going to end with this. And then we were going to talk about marijuana, but
Yeah,
we didn't do
keep
that.
not getting to that.
Maybe next time. But we're not just in a health revolution. We're in a trust revolution.
Mm.
And once trust breaks, people don't just look for answers. They build entirely new belief systems.
I think that's definitely something we're in for many things in this world, not just health, but there's a lot of things being thrown at us that we have to research and we have to have knowledge on. So
I had an article on how Donald Trump is thinking about Casey Means as the next Surgeon General.
oh, that's interesting.
That would be hugely revolutionary.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I'm not going to report on that article now. I just told you about it. So, but there's more information on that. Anyways, thanks for joining us. Hopefully this was fun. Like I said, we didn't prep, so that's why we seemed a little disorganized, but I think it flowed well, and
I
we
think
gave
so
you
too.
enough information and a lot to think about. And hopefully you'll join that revolution. Let's build a new belief system. Let's believe in the
Yeah.
creation of the body as the body being self-healing, self-regulating. Let's believe that the body was created perfectly without flaw, that we can heal ourselves, that if a disease can randomly appear, it can randomly disappear as well. It can naturally occur. It can naturally be cured within limits, within reason, obviously. But let's focus on health and wellness and prevention, true prevention, which means you sleep, you exercise, you eat whole foods, not processed stuff. You focus on balancing blood sugar and lowering inflammation. Do that, and we're going to be in good shape.
Agreed.
Take care. God bless you.
See you next time.
Live radio, local podcasts, the Frederick Podcast Network at listenfrederick.com.